You're listening to the Walt's World Podcast. Join your hosts, John and Kaylee, as they banter about all things Disney, including Disney parks, resorts, dining, fashion, and movies. They'll keep you up to date with the latest Disney news and rumors, and they'll share their best tips and insight to make sure you have the best Disney vacation possible. So to all who tune into this happy place, welcome. It's the Walt's World Podcast.
Hey friends, John and Kaylee here with another episode of the Walt's World Podcast. What are we talking about today, Kaylee?
Today we're talking about our top 5 favorite Disney Pixar movies.
Just Pixar.
Just Pixar.
Which, if you listen to our last top 5 episode, I thought we were going to make a list of top 5, like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kaylee is like, no, just five songs. And this time I thought we were doing Disney and Pixar, so basically my list had to be completely redone, except for one movie. So we're just going to kind of go on the fly, and we're not going to count them down, right? It's just our 5, no certain order.
Yeah, no, we can't do numerical order because it's so hard for me to put like a number 1 or a number 5.
And there's only like 12 Pixar movies.
Exactly.
Anyways. And so, I mean,
Pixar would probably be easier to put in numerical order than like just any Disney movie, but still, It's really hard.
This was actually a show idea that a couple of people have actually wanted for a while. Let's talk about movies, which we haven't really talked about movie lists or anything like that. But our friend Eric at Once Upon a Wilkes has been waiting for this episode for a while. So Eric, this is for you. Make sure you give them a follow because they're really fun.
Does he know that it's just going to be Pixar though? Like he's probably going to listen.
No, see, he's going to be mad.
Dang, it's just.
And he's
Pixar.
A cop, and he's a police officer. So you make him mad, you're not going to get out of a speeding ticket in the state of Georgia, if you're ever in Georgia. Which means they're Georgia Bulldog fans. So that's kind of gross and disgusting if you're familiar with.
Give them a follow anyway. So great content.
They have the cutest little boy.
They have the cutest baby. I was just about to say their little boy is so cute, and they took their first trip to Disney with him not too long ago.
We got to hang out with him a little bit while we were there. He's precious. Anyways, enough about that. Let's get into our top 5 favorite Pixar movies. Kaylee, you ladies first.
Ladies first. Okay. Monsters, Inc.
That's a good choice.
I know. I love Monsters, Inc. I had like a weird obsession with Boo when I was younger. Like I just like carried this little like...
I kind of feel like there's a Not So Scary Halloween Party costume coming for 2019.
Actually, during like a spirit week in high school, you had to dress up as a Disney character, and I chose Boo. So that's been done already. But
okay.
It's just the nostalgia behind it. Like my childhood, I think of Monsters Inc., that little Boo doll. And she spoke too. She said, Kitty.
Mike Wazowski.
Yeah, Mike Wazowski. No, so I love her, and especially going to Disneyland and like seeing her door and the ride that they have at Disneyland, like it's just so good. I love everything about it. I love Monsters Inc. and I love Monsters University. I think they're both great, but I put Monsters Inc. on this list because it's the original and it's phenomenal and it's my childhood.
I think this is what, as a creative person, I love about Pixar is because they take these ideas and just like they blow you away. Like we all have grown up with like, oh, there's a monster in my closet, there's a monster under my bed, but then they take it and they just kind of make this whole world out of it, and it just is so incredible. And I'm glad you said Monsters Inc. because on my list is Monsters University.
Oh.
Yeah. And actually, if we were numbering it, it would be number 1 on my list.
Yeah,
It's my favorite Disney Pixar movie. It's my favorite Pixar movie. Yeah. For sure. I love it. I love the story behind it because when you see Mike walking into his dorm room for the first time, he's like, this is going to be my lifelong best friend. He opens the door and there's Randall. Like you never would have thought. You thought it was going to be Sully, right?
Right.
Who would have thought Sully and him would not be friends? And then how it all transpires and the new characters they bring into it, like Art, and that's a part of his fraternity, the philosophy major. Like, he's my favorite Disney character.
I completely agree. They did that movie so well because there's always such like low expectations, I feel like, when they try to make like a sequel or like a spin-off of a movie or something like that. Or I mean, I guess this wasn't really like a sequel because it didn't continue from the first story.
It's a prequel.
It's a prequel, yeah. But yeah, and I love little Mike in the beginning when he's like in elementary school or whatever too, and they take the field trip. I think that's just the cutest little thing ever. Great movie. Good choice.
I love it. The story behind it, even though he's not scary, he still believes in himself and all that. That's awesome. I love that it's not like crammed down your throat, the story, That's one thing I appreciate about Pixar is that everything's not just, the story isn't just crammed down your throat constantly. However, Wreck-It Ralph 2, it's crammed down your throat from the beginning of the stupid movie.
I hated that movie so much.
I am so over that movie. The first one, I love Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh, the first one, phenomenal. The second one, absolute garbage.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
not a
I'm
fan.
Not a fan of
Okay.
that. Next for you.
Next for me is Up. How can you not say Up? Up is...
If you fast forward through the first 30 minutes, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, it's sad, but in all honesty, every Disney movie is sad at some point. I love the characters. I love Doug. I love Carl. I can't. I love it. It's so good. I think
it is a great movie.
The villain in it like really adds to the story. Just like the whole premise of them like flying this house, like it's just like pure Disney fantasy, which I love so much. Like when they take something that is completely unrealistic and makes it into like just the best story ever, and so believable and so like heartwarming and emotional and funny and cute. Like it has like everything that you would want out of a Disney movie in it, and that's why I think it's so good.
I think this movie, more than most, has a very Walt Disney feel to it. A little tidbit about it, you were talking about the villain Charles Muntz. It's actually based on an actual real life character who actually stole Oswald the Lucky Rabbit from Walt Disney back in the day. His name was Charles Muntz. So just a little tidbit of info for you.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. See, that makes it even better.
Yeah. It feels very Disney, not just because that, but it just feels like a story that Walt would, because we're on a first name basis, Walt would feel drawn to, I think, something that he would be proud of. I think that's and it feels like a Disney movie, not necessarily a Pixar movie to me because of the storyline.
I
think,
agree.
Because it's sad. And
I mean, I think the Up bird show at Animal Kingdom is complete trash. Like they totally did a disjustice to Up. But whatever, I'm not salty about it or anything. The movie's phenomenal.
I want to meet Carl so bad in the parks. Like I love Doug and Russell. They're great, but bring me Carl in his walker with the tennis balls.
Yes.
Like
he's just like the epiphany of like an older person. Like they seem so grumpy, but they actually have like the biggest heart ever.
Right. So you just called out a bunch of old people right there. Good job.
Whatever. At least I didn't say an age. I could have been like, I could have really called them out. I just said old people. So old people is very like, whatever you think is an old person.
Okay. Old is a state of mind. That's all it is.
Exactly.
Old is just a state of mind.
Okay, what's your next one?
In that movie. My next one is Finding Dory.
Stop. That was my next one too.
Yes, Finding Dory. Not Finding Nemo.
No,
like you're going to see a trend in my list
Nemo.
that it's never the originals.
I'm over
the originals
Finding
are not
Nemo,
on my list.
for sure. Finding Nemo is just, it's good. Like it is. And I think like the animation in it is really good. Like very colorful and vibrant and everything. But I just loved Finding Dory so much better. I love the characters that they introduced. I liked how we got a backstory of Dory, because I think in Finding Nemo, she wasn't like on the back burner, but you didn't really know anything about her besides that she had short-term memory loss. So I love this movie. Sorry, I just stole your whole spotlight because it was your choice, but it was my choice too.
It's all right. I like all the different characters in it. I like I like that she does find... Okay, spoiler alert. So if you have not seen Finding Dory, I'm giving you the chance to fast forward 15, 30 seconds to get past it. But I like that she does find her parents in the end, that they weren't actually dead. That was a great thing.
I love that too. I mean, it was a much needed happy ending for her, I think.
The cuddle party on the bridge, the whole, I like that it was a little like out there. Like when would a seven-legged octopus drive a truck? Like that's ridiculous, but it kind of, if for some reason it fits that world more than it would fit other Disney worlds. But I need more Finding Dory stuff in the parks. Like the Finding Nemo ride, Under the Seas with Nemo and Friends, is great. Let's revamp it and add in
some
more
characters from Finding Dory. Yeah,
more characters.
I completely agree. I loved this movie so much. It was not a disappointment at all.
It's definitely one that, like, if I'm laying in bed, I'm like, I can't sleep, and I'm flipping through Netflix or Movies Anywhere, and I see it, I'm like, okay, I could watch that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's great. Okay,
next for you. That was your next one, but
it was my next one. Oh, so you can go then.
Me go? Okay.
You go, yeah, because we both had the same next one.
All right. Cars 3.
Ooh, see, it was really hard for me to not put that one on my list because I loved it, like even more than the original Cars. I hated Cars 2.
Don't even mention that one.
Yeah.
It doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't exist. We just skipped, for some reason, we skipped from 1 to 3. Who knows? Disney's weird that way.
3 was great.
The only thing I didn't like about 3 is the very ending when Lightning rolls up, painted up like the Hudson Hornet. That's the only thing I didn't like about it, because it felt forced. It felt
like
awkward. They
were trying too hard to make it like emotional or something.
Yeah, I guess. Like he idolized him, and he wanted to be just like him, and he loved him like a father and all that stuff. I get all that, and now he's kind of like that to Cruise, but like I hope if there's another Cars movie, if there is one, then it's not, he's back into his red, because like when you think Lightning McQueen, you think red, yellow, white.
Yeah, no, I agree. You think of
Doc Hudson.
Lightning.
Yeah, it's not that. So that was the only thing about it. And he changed his name to the Fabulous Lightning McQueen. Like, that's just kind of weird to me. The other thing about it I didn't like is that from when he wrecks to when he decides to start racing again, it just like jumped right to it. Like, I thought, okay, there's going to be some time between those two periods where he would struggle with wanting to race again and all that kind of stuff. But they just kind of jumped right to it, which I get why, because it's a movie. It needs to be a certain length of time. But I felt like they could have spent more time on that struggle. But Cruz Ramirez is an incredible character. She's hilarious.
No, Cruz like really added to that movie. Like, I think she might be the whole reason that I like the movie. She's hilarious, like you said. I love the whole scene where they're like racing on the beach, and he's kind of like showing her how to like race and go fast. And I love her, like, just like her dream to like be a racer. I don't know. I just think it's great.
And the little things that are in there that make me happier, like when she's got the 3 other cars on the treadmills, and the one who's like from Mexico is sad, and she's like, oh, do you miss home? And she turns on the screen, and it's literally the scene, the hometown from Coco on the screen, if you notice that. So you have to go back and watch that if you never noticed that.
That's
before.
one of those like Disney Easter eggs that I hardly ever notice, but everybody else does.
Like in Coco, the Toy Story characters are in Coco. But it's little things like that. It's the scene when they go back to Doc Hudson's old stomping grounds, and they find Smokey, and like that, I just think about like the artistic side of all those, the wood scenes, and just the meeting the old racers. And I thought it was great. And I look forward to Cars 4, which I'm sure will be out in like 10 years, but I hope they take their time with it.
I don't know. I feel like they just kind of need to stop. Like, there's no need to have 4 movies.
But Disney, they're going to build on.
Oh, for
Cruz
sure.
Ramirez,
I mean, they're making a Toy
huge.
Story 4, so let's see how that's going to be.
Which I would have been fine. Toy Story 3, end it right there. Where it ended would have been perfectly fine.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I guess, there is kind of more to like Cars that they could expand upon, but I don't know if it's
Yeah,
necessary.
I see it maybe being one of those where Cruz gets too cocky and thinks she doesn't need lightning anymore. And
Right.
I could see it one of those type of things, but I just hope they don't try to do like they did with the Rocky movies where Rocky, I think it was Rocky 5 maybe. I can't remember, but he takes that young guy under his wing and like, I don't know, it just makes it stupid. But anyways, go on. What's your next one?
My next one is Ratatouille.
Oh,
I think this is one of the more like mature Disney movies as far
does
as
feel
like
that way.
animation, which I think is why I like it. I just love the whole premise of it, like a chef being like controlled by a rat that's like an amazing chef. I don't know. I love Remy. I think his character is amazing. I don't know. There's just like nothing that I don't like about it.
it's on my honor. It's my number one honorable mention. It was almost on the list. I used to hate this movie, but I think I sat down and I watched it again about a year and a half ago, and I really paid attention to it, and I really kind of fell in love with it. I
Yeah.
thought it was an awesome movie.
I don't know. Just
It's
like
great.
the duo with Remy and Linguini, like I think is great, and it's really unique compared to other like Disney movies. Like they're not just like a regular like sidekick, type thing. Because I wouldn't consider Remy Linguini's sidekick because Remy is technically like running the show. So
Yeah.
then it's like, is Linguini Remy's sidekick? It's just like a duo. It's a little tag team. I don't know. I love it, and of course it's based around food, which I think is great too. And I think it has a really nice like happy ending as well. Like, I mean, it's a little bit sad, of course, like, when they argue whenever and you see Remy like all sad, but I think the ending is great.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I don't disagree with anything you said. Good job. First time ever.
Yeah, I was
Mark it
literally
down,
just about
people.
to say first time ever.
All right, so my next one is going to be Brave.
Ooh. See, Brave took me a little while to warm up to. Like, I had
Yeah?
watched it a couple times and never finished it because I was just like, I'm not really like into it. But then watching it full through, I was like, wow. And she's actually like one of those like really like bad, like strong like female roles. Like, she's not like your typical like damsel in distress, like needs a man to come save her, which I think is awesome.
Like Moana. Moana's like that
Yeah,
too.
exactly. Like, I would put them in the same category as far as like princesses. But yeah, and I love the little bears too. Anyways, sorry, you could talk about it now since it's your
Yeah,
choice.
thank you very much. I do like that powerful woman thing. I think the only thing about it is it takes a little time to get into the movie. Like, there's so much backstory they have to give
agree.
between her and her mom, and but I love her brothers. Her brothers are hilarious in it. I love that her dad is just clueless to everything. The whole bear hunt in the castle, like, is
Right.
just hilarious. Like, I think that's so funny.
I think it has a really good meaning too.
Yeah, and I think it does appeal to not just girls, but I think, like, when you're younger, you think your parents don't know anything. Like, that's just, I mean, you think your parents are stupid and they don't know what's happening, but the older you get, the more you appreciate them and everything. So I kind of get that whole storyline of how she learns to appreciate her mom and that kind of thing.
Right.
I like that it's set in a different kind of country and time period than like other Pixar movies are. That it's like over in, I guess, I don't know if it's specifically Ireland or Scotland or wherever, but it may be a country world like that. I like that it's a different kind of time frame too, which makes me wonder, in Ralph Breaks the Internet, when all the Disney princesses are in that scene, she is in that with them. Like, how?
I don't know, but so is Moana. Like,
Right.
and she's
And
supposed to
that's
be like
what's-
on an island in the middle of nowhere, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, that
It doesn't
kind
add
of blew
up.
my own mind
but-
for a second. No, it doesn't add up at all. And so, but yeah, I love that. I love that it's got like that kind of mythical kind of undertones to it, which are cool. And I like that the other clans, I like those guys.
Right.
So it's just a great movie. If I had to put it in the list, it would be like number 5 though. It would be
I would
borderline
say
for me.
Yeah, it's good. It's not like my favorite, but I think I think the biggest reason is because it takes so long to kind of get into what the actual movie is about.
Yeah.
But I have to love like a strong female role. Like, I appreciate that.
Me too. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Next
for me, and you're probably going to have like something to say about it.
Probably.
Toy Story 2.
I'm not mad.
I love, like, this movie is so aesthetically pleasing. And I say that from when, like, Woody's being, like, fixed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, when they, like, polish his eyeballs and, like, paint over, like, Andy that's written on his boot. I love that. That's probably, like, my favorite thing about the whole movie. But I also just think the story is great, too, because Woody kind of, like, starts to lose his way because he gets influenced, because he realizes, like, who he truly is. But then at the end, realizes that, Buzz and like the rest of the gang, those are all his family as well. So I just think the story is really great. And of course, I think Jessie is a very important role in Toy Story. So this movie introduces her and gives a lot of backstory on her, which I love too. I just think it's great.
And we have a soft spot in our heart for Stinky Pete from that movie too. So.
Stinky Pete. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think it's a great movie. It's just that scene where Jessie's song is at. It's so depressing and sad, and I'm just like,
it is sad, but I think it's
fast forward.
It's necessary to know why she is so kind of like not standoffish, but she's very like headstrong,
guarded.
Yeah, guarded.
Yeah,
is definitely the word for it. So I think it's necessary to put that in there so we know why. I don't know, I just love it. And like I said, I love that scene where like Woody's being all like fixed up and put back to brand new. It's great. And then also when they're like going around the toy store and like Barbie's driving them in the little car. I don't know, it's just it's so good. All the Toy Story movies are just great because it's literal like toys. I don't know. But I just love it.
Again, it's one of those where Pixar takes something that is common, toys, and just completely like changes the way you look at the world, because you're looking at everything from their perspective.
Right.
It's just so cool.
It is.
I definitely think Toy Story 3 is better. It's the best of the three. If we were picking the top 3 and Toy Story 3 would be the best of the 3.
Oh no, Toy Story. I like Toy Story 3. Don't get me wrong, but he's so evil. What's his name? Lotso. Yeah, Lotso is so evil and just like mean and like, but I think it adds to like another important life lesson. Disney movies are all about life lessons where like you just never truly know like who someone really is, and it's sad and scary all at the same time, because it's like they think he's just like this nice guy that's helping them out and helping them get used to like their new life. And then he turns out to be like a really bad guy. But in the end, Woody and the rest of the gang still save him. They don't let him die. And so it just kind of goes to show that like if, no matter how somebody's treating you, like you just kind of always have to be like the bigger person. I don't know. So I do love like that aspect of it, but it's just hard to watch sometimes because he's such a bully.
Yeah, he is a big bully. He does not smell like strawberries if you meet him at the parks. So there's a disappointment
Huge
for
disappointment
you today. On your day that you're listening to this, Tuesday or whatever.
Your last one?
The last one for me is Incredibles 2.
Ooh, see, it was hard for me to not put that on my list.
It's so... Incredibles 1 is good. It's fine. The thing about the Incredibles movies I love is you don't know the time period. Right? Like, because it feels like it's in the 50s or 60s. Like, it feels like that because of the cars and the outfits.
There's only
and all
2,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just 1 and 2. But that's one thing I love about it is the time period. Because I love, like, the 50s, 60s time period anyways, decades. The cars, the clothes, the style, the the art, all of that stuff about that. So this movie really appeals to me in that way. But Incredibles 2, I'm so glad they took forever to make it, because it's almost perfect. There's not really one thing that sticks out to me and I'm like, oh gosh, if I wish they hadn't done this. You know, it's almost the perfect movie. You have the kids trying to find out who they are, and it literally picks up right at the end of the first one, which I appreciate that. Like, you don't have to wonder, well, what's happened for the last 10 years? Like, it picks up literally where the last one left off. I love the music with it. It's very that kind of secret agent 50s, 60s kind of feel to it. The story is great. I love seeing Mr. Incredible trying to take care of Jack and the kids and be the stay-at-home dad. And
yeah, I mean,
that kind of thing is very cool.
The whole like Jack and Edna bond that they create is just amazing. The villain,
Jack and the raccoon.
I really like the villain in it too. That's like a nice, I mean, I was gonna say like nice surprise, but I feel like a little bit through the movie you kind of like start to know who it is. But I think although it's a little hard to watch with like all the lights like flashing all over the place, I like the villain in it a lot. I think it's a great movie, and I do like it better than the first one for sure.
There's so many kind of understated themes to it, you know, like the whole superheroes being not allowed to be in public, and the whole scene when they're eating dinner right after they'd gotten arrested and everything, they're eating dinner and they're talking about being who they are, but there's laws that prevent them from being that. And it's I like all those, but they're very understated. It's not like boom in your face, you know, it's very understated themes with that. And then the whole sister of the guy being the bad person, like,
right,
again, another one of those, she's super nice, but she was just manipulating
exactly
Mrs. Incredible and Elastigirl or whatever. So I like all of that. I loved the movie. I think we saw it in theaters like 3 times, maybe 4 times in theaters, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god,
it was just so good. It was so good.
No, it was so good.
The theme songs, I loved the Mr. Incredible theme song, the Frozone theme song, especially the Frozone
theme song was so good.
So cool. It was so cool. Mm-hmm. See what I did there?
I love Elastigirl in it too, of course.
You would. Gosh, girl power.
Girl power, baby. No, I think she's great. And I think it's funny to like see Mr. Incredible stay at home, like you said. I think it's super cute and different. I especially love the scene where they like Mr. Incredible takes the kids out to dinner and you see like Violet's crush is their waiter. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
He's trying so hard.
Yeah.
He's trying so hard. That's totally something I would do too. Like I would be like, this is excellent water. Like trying to make, you know,
exactly
the guys trying to make up for my daughter or whatever for being an idiot.
And I like how it continued on where the first one ended off. Like it perfectly continued, which I think was really good and really smart on Pixar's move or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes you get lost and you don't remember, or like with Monsters University, they just like do a prequel instead of a sequel. I don't know.
I do wish with Monsters U, though, the only thing I didn't like about that movie is the end where they kind of fast forward through their time moving up the ranks at the place where they make kids scream. That's the only thing I didn't like about it, because I feel like there was a movie in there somewhere. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe not, but...
No, I agree. They could have definitely either elaborated on it a little bit more or kind of done like a whole thing on it. But it would have been hard to do that after they made Monsters, Inc., Monsters University, and then when are they going to do Monsters, Inc. 2? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I understand that for sure. We have to look forward to Toy Story 4 coming out in 2019. Yeah, it's going to come out in June 2019. That's the only Pixar movie this year, as of now, that we know about. And then next year is the movie called Onward, which is an original movie. It's not anything, but it's got a big cast in it. But yeah, that's Toy Story 4 in June. I'm worried about it because I know originally they had a script and they've redone it. So, but they did that for Toy Story 2 as well. If you guys get a chance, go to Netflix and watch the Pixar story. It's on Netflix. It's a documentary about how Pixar became, how it started, and all that stuff. It's an excellent documentary. Excellent movie. But Toy Story 2 was like that. They had a script. They had it almost done, and they scrapped the whole thing because it was horrible. So hopefully, this is going to be weird, but like I know John Lasseter's kind of hit the news about stuff lately the last year or so, but you can't discount his genius with Pixar. So I feel like if he's involved in this, which I think he is, then I feel better about it because I don't feel like he can do wrong when it comes to creating movie content. But yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see, I guess, in June.
No,
there's a lot of good movies coming out before then, though. So
there are. It's gonna be like a
movies.
really good year for movies. I feel like.
Last year was a good year. This is a good year.
Last year was such a good year too. I don't know.
We will.
I'm excited.
We'll do another top 5 lists. We'll do just Disney movies. We'll do top 5 lists with like non-Disney in terms of like I consider like Star Wars and like that kind of stuff. Disney adjacent.
No, I agree.
movies.
Yeah.
So we got tons and tons of top 5 lists to come still. But yeah, so that's going to be it for this episode though. Those are our 5 favorite movies, Pixar movies. Like it or not, agree with us, disagree with us, let us know. Message us on Instagram at Walt's World Podcast or shoot us an email, waltzworldpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you guys. Also, go rate us on iTunes. It helps people find us easily. So, I'm John.
And I'm Kaylee. We'll see you next week.